All right, people, so we're 23 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock, and as promised, we have Senator Anil Roberts, former Minister of Sport, via Zoom, joining us this morning. We're going to talk about, we'll continue the conversation from yesterday morning with the sports and the issue with sports and the decline and the performance of the athletes at the Olympic Games. So we're going to bring him in right now and say good morning. So good morning, Senator Roberts. How things?
Good morning, good morning. You're looking fit and strong, boy, like you went the Olympics out.
Nah, brother, man.
Nigeria.
Nah, don't make me close down the laptop. You go see how unfit I am. I see you in doubles and coffee background here. So you're in doubles and coffee mode. So,
correct.
That's right. So I guess we get straight to it, because I know you're a man you can talk this whole day. Now, let me ask you something. Is this the worst performance we've seen by local athletes at the Olympics?
Well, it's the worst since before 1992. And the second worst was probably 2021 after COVID in Tokyo.
Okay.
2016, we got 1 bronze, catch on, in the javelin. 2012, 2 years after, 2.5 years after I was minister, we got 1 gold, 1 silver, 2 bronze, 11 finalists, qualification in 6 different sports and 35 athletes. 2008, we got Richard Thompson got a gold and a silver. The 4x1 got a gold. It was silver, but of Nestor Carter test positive, and they received a gold medal. But the best kept secret in the world. We got also in 2004 bronze with George Bovell. 2000 was Arto, silver and bronze. 1996, Arto, 2 bronze. So you reach 1988 before you start to discuss anything without medal. But 1976, gold. Way back in 1948 with Rodney Wilkes in weightlifting, bronze. 1952, Rodney Wilkes and Lennox Kilgore in weightlifting. We also had McDonald Bailey, who the then Athletic Federation decided not to select for Trinidad and Tobago, and he went for the British, and he got 2 medals in the 100 and 200. So to answer your question, this was the most woeful performance in the history of Trinidad and Tobago at the Olympics across the board. And to fail so dramatically, let us be clear. Well, let me start with this, because you know people just get emotional. I want to commend all the athletes who went there for trying their best, for going and giving their all, for doing whatever they could to represent the country to the best of their ability. So I'm proud of their effort. Now put that aside. In order to fail so spectacularly, it could not happen by happenstance. Just like you plan to succeed, you also plan to fail. There's been a plan to fail in sports that has gone on for the last 9 years. Now don't get confused and don't get worried. There's a lot of licks to go around, but we start at the top. The government in Trinidad and Tobago, the cabinet, the Ministry of Sport is in charge of charting the future, charting the policy, allocating resources. First and foremost, after Darrell Smith was removed from being Minister of Sport,
right,
at least Darrell Smith had played football at St. Mary's and things. His children played tennis. He had a little idea of sport. His family had been around swimming for a while. So he had at least an apasa interest in sport. When Keith Christopher Rowley, who cares nothing about sport except golf that he loved, but the game don't love him because he had the worst swing I ever see for somebody swinging a golf club so long with so much passion. When he selected Shampa Kujo, and understand this very carefully, Shampa Kujo tweeted, put up a social media post, when your own dog bites you, you're well bitten. Meaning she did not want to be Minister of Sport. She was happy in tourism. So first and foremost, if you choose someone who don't want the work, you start to fail before you start.
Agreed.
She did not want the work. She did not know about the work. She does not care about the work. She have no passion about the work. And furthermore, By giving someone like that a portfolio, you then have to understand how a cabinet works. If you are the Minister of Social Development because you love poor people, you love single mothers, you love children, you want equity in the society, and I am the Minister of Sport, when we go in cabinet with 23 or 30 other ministers, you and I have to break cabinet note and argue and fight for resources for what we want. You may want more food card, more disability grant, autistic grant, more food to deliver, more services to do direct impact. I want more funding for sports maintenance, sports tourism, sports science, sports officers, sports coaching, sport in school. And we have to argue in the cabinet for resources.
Okay.
If you as Prime Minister put somebody who you don't talk to, who you don't tell good morning, who you just give a portfolio because you say she want to just be called minister, it means that you have given the portfolio no respect because nobody had taken Champa Kujo on to ask for nothing for nobody across the board. Then, when you do that now, the Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, wanted resources to go where he wanted for his topper ministers. So you want Noel Garcia to be able to build wherever you want. He called Milbert have to get heating. Stuart Smallpin Young get whatever he want because he is Rowley right-hand man. So what do? They then go cutting. And in sport, they cut everything. There's something called the NPI vote, where you get money to give sporting federations. When I was there were 49 of them. They also put money in there to help when you do in your sports day, you run for cancer, your charity, when communities doing development, coaches doing grassroots training and so on. That NPI vote, when I became minister, Gary Hunt was the minister, that was stood at $10 million. Right. Gary Hunt and his predecessor, Roger Boynes, would be so lazy, them would not sit down and go through, people writing for requests and so on. They would write hundreds of letters. They would not even spend out that 10 million. Okay?
Okay.
When I came in, I used to go in our ministry 5 a.m., go through all them letters from any nook and cranny in Trinidad and Tobago. From Tobago, from Carnage, from Matlot, from South, from Central, from all over. Little sporting groups, little community groups, sports days and so on. I increased that NPI vote from 10 million to 150 million. When the former member for Port of Spain South, Marlene McDonald, asked me a question in the parliament, you have 45 minutes to answer questions, right?
Right.
The question that she asked me was, name all the groups and associations that you have given from the ministry and the sport company funding for assistance in any form for equipment and so on. Boss man, she thought that when she asked that question, I, as a member of the People's Partnership government, the PNM like to play race thing. She thought she was going to hear Princess Tongue, Hoover, all the strongholds at the UNC, Chaguanas,
right,
going down Barrackpore. But when I start to read out Mango Rose and St. Paul Street and Carnage and Point Kumana, after reading out for 20 minutes, the person who asked me the question, Marlene McDonald, get up, Wade Mark was the speaker, and say, okay, Mr. Speaker, we'll take the rest in writing. I stood up and I go on Hansard, you would see it. I said, no, Mr. Speaker. The member asked a question, and I researched the question. I respect the question, and I'm going to answer the question full. But when the full 45 minutes is the first time in Parliament, one question was answered for 45 minutes. There were over 3,420 groups that got between 5,000, 10,000 medals for sports day, for equipment, football, RSSR, Lil Camp, football cones, and so on across the board. So the PNM cut the budget from 150 million for that vote that I'm talking about, which includes total participation in sport, where you find talent, where you get a healthy population, where you get coaches involved. They cut that back with Champa down to 10 million. So already they started a deficit. Now that money I spoke about did not include things like football and Pro League and Super League. I went in a cabinet and I take those things out specially because football is a different brand. Football is Trinidad and Tobago. Football requires large investment.
Of course.
So like the TTFA would get 25 million. The TT Pro League Now the Pro League, you don't know if it have competition, it don't have
competition.
Well,
I don't know.
Cancel and
yeah, because I don't know what's going on with the Pro League. I mentioned that. I mean, nobody knows what's going on. Yeah.
I'm telling you what's going on. PNM cut the funding since 2016. We did not reach here at a level of failure that is so spectacular and embarrassing. I have to be in Jamaica. I'm talking about St. Lucia, Dominica, Grenada, all kind of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, all Cayman. And my Trinidad and Tobago, me a big red, white, and black ball head. And I can't say nothing except me Jereme Richards look great in a 400. You know how that hurt me every day for 17 days, 3 hours a day. My flag can't fly because PNM started this way back in 2015. I ain't done there, you know. And it's not only PNM, don't get me coming down the line. So let me go deal the whole thing with PNM. So other than that, they also cut funding to the Pro League. They cut to cricket. They cut. There were 75 sport development officers paid for by and hired by the ministry under my policy that would go out in the communities, identify talent, rural caravan, women in sport, conduct clinics throughout, get children and show them the pathway to go to track and field, cricket, football, swimming, whatever their talent was. The PNM fire all. When I was there during the Easter vacation and the summer vacation, there will be 2 weeks and 4 weeks of full camp for 21,000 children, including differently able, across the board. Now it have election, them come back with some little thing called I Choose Sport, but it's more video than action. It's all about sharp, glam, and show. It are no show. Every time them to give out a check, it has take a picture. If I was taking pictures for giving out $150 million in 5,000, 10,000 medal and trophy money for DJ and rental and so on.
Yeah.
Then I would have spent the whole 5 years taking picture.
Okay.
Also, under our administration, all the facilities in the country were maintained to the highest order and they were made available free of charge for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Why? Because the United National Congress, the People Partnership, believes and still do that the facilities belong to the people. Do you know when I became minister, you know all that secondary school football, you would see Fatima playing Arima, whoever, up in Larry Gomes, Golden and Manny Ramjohn.
Yeah.
You know the PNM was charging the schools $5,000 to use the People's Stadium?
No, I did not. I'm now hearing about that.
Oh, yes. Well, I come in there and say, all you had to be mad. Them thing is built with taxpayer money. Like the people think you can't charge children and schools to use their own thing, and the UNC put in a position that all those facilities will remain open and they will be free of charge. All you had to do was book. The PNM now has closed up all. I got sport into the front of the budget. If you go back to 2013 budget, in the first 20 minutes, you hear Larry Hawaii talking about sport and the growth pole and so on in Couva, where we're going to use sport to inject economic activity. Under the PNM, sport does be in a 3 hour and 28-minute budget. Sport does be at 3 hours and 4 minutes and lasts a minute and a half maximum. I got it in the front. Why? Because we were building, we had the Atto Golden Stadium.
Yes.
You had the National Cricket Center in Balmain.
Right.
I say, okay, we'll put the aquatic center, the cycling velodrome. I was coming with an Olympic BMX thing for them children because I was looking at sports that we could get improvement to be world-class quick. And then we were saying, leave that open. Let tens of thousands of children come per week who swimming, who doing aqua aerobics, who doing diving, who doing cycling, who doing running, who doing riding, who doing football, who doing cricket, and let their parents come and exercise. That way, businessmen like yourself and whoever Monroe would have come and put a little restaurant, a health food, a doctor office, a little plaza, and that area would have generated income. Furthermore, the aquatic center, for example, is the greatest aquatic center in the Western Hemisphere. The USA don't have an aquatic center like that. In order for them to do the Olympic trials, they built up temporary pools in Indianapolis, in the Indianapolis Colts facility to hold the trials. Trinidad and Tobago with 250-meter pool, aquatic center, diving well, synchronized swimming, bows. They have a bows system in that diving well and pool that when the children underwater, you could hear music, you could hear sweet soca, you could hear Marshall.
That's
they may use that bows here.
Here? We have that here?
Right there, the thing I build, boy. Right there, never turn on.
That's in use?
No, it's not in use. Nobody ever died the PNM. No, last year, for master plan for sports tourism, I left a cabinet note because as you saw, China equal USA in gold medals. You saw that. USA got 40 and China got 40. Well, Anil Roberts, the minister, knew that. And so while the aquatic center was building, I did up a cabinet note because we have good relations with China to get Chinese coaches for swimming, diving, synchronized swimming, archery, table tennis, badminton, and 3 other sports to bring them here in a bilateral relation so that we could get those facilities working. PNM take that because Anil Roberts do it and throw it away. Not a coach, not a child dive. Do you know down in the aquatic center, they have what you call a dry dive, which is a deep 12-meter hole filled with foam that divers could go with pulleys and things to teach the children how to somersault and so on. It air used in 8 years.
You serious? All that we have, all that all of it?
Used. The pool went green. The cycling track air condition breakdown for 18 months. That is PNM. This curtail didn't come by mistake. It came by PNM. I could continue now. Those facilities were also done, including the tennis center, which they now lock up from tennis players. And you have to get like special permission and visa to go and use your own facility because PNM feel when them in charge, these things belong to the PNM. They do not, they belong to the people, and the gate must be open for children and coaches and people to come in and use it to their freedom. Now, the next part was to generate revenue would be sport tourism. This Ministry of Tourism under Randall Mitchell just last year, he don't even know that they sent out for proposals for overall policy for sport tourism 8 years after them in charge, right?
Right.
Let me just give you a quick synopsis of what could have taken place. With the aquatic center, for example, right? When I talk sport, I'll get emotional and sweaty, so don't study that. In the winter months from Thanksgiving, November 25th, 27th,
right,
to January 13th or so when US schools start back, we could have earned approximately 2.1 to 3 million US by getting teams in winter, university teams, Division 1, Division 2, NAIA, European national team, coming down to the sweet Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, where gas cheap, they could eat good food, environment, they could run, they could be fit, and they could use facilities that they don't have in their area. And we could have earned per year 3 million US so that you would not have to pay any money to maintain. That would have maintained the facility for the whole year. So people, our children, Trinbagonian children, could have used that free. They wouldn't have had to buy no chlorine, wouldn't have no problem. The PNM has done nothing. 1 or 2 teams have come. We were to make all the athletes that are out there on scholarship and out there in universities across US as sport ambassadors, that when they get teams to come, so if you're in the University of Delaware, you say, hey, look at this facility we have in Trinidad, swimming team, diving team, all you come down, Christmas time. When you come there, you're charging $5 US per hour. They're training 5 hours per day for an average of 2 weeks, 20 to 24 athletes. Money coming out the wazoo. PNM knows nothing about that. So there was no investment. We had sports science. Every stadium, we put the Rodney Wilkes weightlifting and testing center. We were going to start to do VO2 max testing and lactic acid testing so that coaches could get free testing so they know how they're training. All those weightlifting areas now, dilapidated, rat running in it, cockroach and dung. The Manny Ramjohn good now for rally driving. If you're going to car park, it have more waves than Las Cuevas down inside it. Facilities falling apart. Atto Bolden, they play football. The children had to watch the game in the hot sun because it was unsafe to go under the roof in Atto Bolden. Across the ground, I lit up 89 recreational grounds and built pavilions and so on. Why? To get children out running. Then we would have coaches going and look, go and see a little super speed youth man and say, hey boy, go to this track club in your area in Brandy. They have a coach. We had National Archives going to record all the grades that went before so children could research and become students of the game under Valentino Singh. PNM cut that. They cut every single thing, and now we get curtailed, and all your shock, we book that now. After the PNM now, the Olympic Committee has been a little boys and girls club. It don't matter if you're skillful, if you're good, if you bring athletes. They have the little friend and family situation, and it's all about going on trips. Yeah. When I went 2004 Olympics, a track and field coach, while the woman was running the 4x100 semi-final, the track and field coach in 2004 was eating ice cream in the dormitory while the race running, because it's only friend and family. That's why they can't take me, because when I go Olympics, not to embarrass my flag, the only thing that saved we is Australia embarrassed itself more than we would have breakdance.
With the breakdance, yeah, with the girl with the breakdance.
Lord for shit, because before that, the most embarrassing thing was we.
But let me ask you something. As you reach the Olympic Committee here, I just want to find out something. You mentioned it before. All right, so you go to cabinet, you get your funding, and then you allocate funds to the federations or the associations, the committees that in charge of each sport. But who holds them accountable in terms of
the ministry? You have to come. First and foremost, when they come, half of them just come and they know that they ain't gonna get 100%. They multiply their budget by 3 so that if they get 1/3, they really get 100%. But when actually you don't play that, because I know the cost of things and so on, and I will go through it and do the work to tell them, listen, no, use the money efficiently. Then the permanent secretary and so on, you're supposed to report every 3 months, and before we go back for budget, you have to come and say what you did, how you did, where you spent it, and so on. Or else your allocation will be reduced for the next year. But it takes work. The PNM is lazy. They're not into that. Furthermore, the ministry is supposed to educate coaches. We had a plan. Do you know in football? First of all, in primary school football, for example, the national title is an under 14 title. You know that?
No, I don't know that. I didn't know that.
You hear what I say? In primary school.
Primary school under 14, yeah.
Take O-levels and get 7 ones at 15. Then primary school playing football in primary school at 14.
Yeah.
This is madness in this country. We encouraging wasting time. We must be student athletes across the board. The Olympic Committee has the PNM cut the funding. You hear them complain? Because Brian Lewis went and screened for Port of Spain South with PNM. It's a little PNM party group. Douglas Camacho was the former president for 2 terms. He in charge of the sport company. He is a hockey man. You know, in 8 years, them can't put on a hockey turf. So what about table tennis and badminton and gymnastics and swimming and all them other sports? The man passion is hockey. And them can't put on a hockey turf. They now rest on one. I get a report yesterday. A dry rot. If man only hit a spanner with his stick, it go dig and rip. That is what PNM does.
Wow.
So the Olympic Committee failure, they put on 1 or 2 things to say, oh, look, we had a conference. The problem is, furthermore, coaching in Trinidad and Tobago is not an industry. We had the spec under former High Commissioner to Jamaica, Dr. Gloudon, right? Was going good and creating sports management programs. UTT had something. Keith Christopher Rowley, because he vexed with Manning, come and cut funding to UTT since 2015, 2016. Part of those programs that got cut is sport development programs, athlete development programs, opportunities for children to be student athletes, cutting gate from 726 million down to 285 million. A lot of athletes fell by the wayside. Cutting funding for the Super League. A lot of youths, a lot of young black boys stop playing football, and you hear about 12 of them dead in the last 4 years through gang violence. That is what we did. That's what the PNM did. This curtail was not by guess. This was a brilliant, amazing PNM plan to embarrass Trinidad and Tobago at the highest level, hoping that somebody like Dream Richards, who do everything by himself, for himself, work hard, pray that he got, that he bring a medal. We had a 4x400 relay that run 3:06.73, you know. The women went 3:15.27. Our men went 3:06. Do you know in 1964 at the Olympics with Motley, Ed Roberts, Ed Skinner, and Ken Bernard in the heats with a hard Mondo track with all heavy shoes with iron spike? You know what time those men went in 1964 in Tokyo?
What's the time?
3:050. Our team in 2024 with super track, bouncy shoe, fancy tight pants. You know what time we did? 3:06:73. You know in the final, them fellas, Ken Bernard, Motley and so on, got bronze in 3:01:17. And we gone Olympics to run 3:06:73 with our national flag not even in the screenshot. When they filming the finish, we not even in the drone shot. We so far behind. And the PNM come to say congratulations to Jareem.
Well, I heard that performance was due to I think it's
Listen to me very carefully. They have African runners that's run a marathon 26.2 miles barefoot. It a man that's run on that track 1500, 800 Olympics barefoot. If your shoe come off, let me say your shoe come off, right?
Yeah.
And your top time is 45. You should run 46.
Yeah, not 5 seconds, not 5 6 seconds
Let me
behind.
give you 48.
Yeah.
Let me give you 48. So that is 3 seconds you have to minus. What is 3 from 3:06:73? 3:03:73.
Yeah.
That's still 6 seconds slower than what we should do.
Because
on top of that, we have a 4th place man in the 400. When you have a finalist who nearly get a medal, your relay team, just like Zambia show you, supposed to be a medal contender. Once you have one hot fella, you see how Tobago come down there and run down the Yankee. All the other men, because they running with Tobago, them run the lights up for the Botswana dance. But that is what you call. But this does not happen just so. Passion. You have to train your body and your mind. You have to train your patriotism. You have to train your passion. What we always studying is what outfit we wear to go in. You know, I never see our opening ceremony live. In the Olympics, I went to 3 Olympics. Never see our opening ceremony. You want to know why?
Why?
We had race the next morning. We ain't come there for that. We ain't come there for party. We come there to perform.
To perform,
Lie down there and rest. Get ready. It's Trinidad and Tobago you're representing. You ain't come here for skin and grin. Furthermore, the coaches are totally incompetent. Like Dexter Brown in swimming. Dylan Carter is a world-class swimmer who should have at least 3 or 4 Olympic medals already. You know what? 2 years ago with this Dexter Brown who decided he come to coach. He come with this lazy man approach, this unscientific approach that you could train easy and just sprint and do a very little bit. It never worked. It has not worked. It's not scientific. I told him so. I warned him 2 years ago that he was going to embarrass Trinidad and Tobago and Dylan Carter. And it was even worse than I even thought. Yeah, but it was totally...
I also saw...
because of poor coaching. So our coaches also must educate themselves. But we don't have an industry. So we get coaches who coaching just because they can't do nothing else.
What?
Because nobody ain't going to hire them to be a professor or a lawyer or a doctor or so on. We need to create an industry where the best of the best choose coaching. In the USA now, man getting $80 million a 3-year contract and so on for coaching.
Wow.
We run out of time.
Yeah,
I only reach about one.
I know that. But it just have a couple things I want to ask you. We have about 6 minutes. But
yes.
I saw Atto Boldon was talking to Andre Batiste, and one of the things that they mentioned just now with the time from the guys that did it back in the day to now, Atto said, you know, the fellas that used to run in the past, they must be rolling and the eyes must be all up in top of their head to know that they did so much with so little, and we have done so little with so much resources. But he also said that, you know, he put forward a comprehensive plan. He predicted that this would happen, this decline would come at this particular point in time, and he never even got a response. Now, I said yesterday, when a man like Atto Boldon, such an accomplished athlete like Atto Boldon, has put together a comprehensive plan and put it forward, regardless of whoever it is running the country, but he just doing it because he wants to see sport, you know, he wants to see the athletes do well. To not get a response, I think, is very disrespectful. When is somebody like Atto Boldon writing you?
Pause. You know?
Yeah.
You pause. With me, you don't have to talk long. I get you. It's disrespectful. First of all, you have to know who to respect in order to disrespect. Shamfa Kujo don't know who to respect. She asked if Richard Thompson, a gold medalist and a silver medalist, a man who run down Usain Bolt to get silver, she asked if he was an elite athlete. the 4x100 that has received gold. They have not even been awarded or rewarded in any form or fashion. So Shampa Cudjoe don't know who to respect or who not to respect. She did not want to be the minister. She does not know. But Ato, the mere fact that he was talking to Andre Batiste is another thing. Andre Batiste in media 20 years and don't know nothing about sport, can't commentate. And if you could hear and really that scream more than anything, you don't know who running, if it's horse race, if it's water polo, or if it's volleyball.
It's true.
And also, Ato must be is a Fatima boy, so I'm a little hurt. Ato, the population of Tobago is 55,000, not 200,000. Lord have mercy.
No. Anil, hear what I'm going to do. I want to take a break.
You're running out of time.
No, I want to take a break, but I don't want you to go anywhere. All right? Don't go anywhere.
Drink my coffee.
Drink your coffee. Because when we come back, I want to discuss the private sector role as well. Because we talk a lot about the government, we talk about the PNM, we talk about all the right. I know you're coming down the line. So I want to give you the time to talk about the private sector and where they are falling short in terms of supporting the athletes as well.
And I accept your apology.
What's that?
I accept your apology.
Yeah.
I accept your apology.
My apology?
Yeah, because you called me to talk sport and tell me about 20 minutes like breaking down. Because you see, and then some kind of BBC, Fox News. I said, why sport we talking 20 minutes? We are even reach 1/3 anyway.
We're gonna take the break and we'll come back because you're giving a lot of information here on a lot of things that I think people did not know was taking place, especially with the aquatic center, the cycling center, a lot of the sport tourism projects. I remember the former Prime Minister mentioning that going into the 2015 election, that they were building, that all these things that you all were putting in place was to bring in sport tourism. She also spoke about medical tourism and, different types of tourism that I think people...
Let me just tell you before you break. Every 10,000 visitors that we were going to bring through sport tourism per year with special sporting fairs and in April and so on, festivals and utilizing the facilities, every 10,000 visitors spending 6 nights and 5 days would have generated $1 billion for every 10,000.
Wow. Of sport and current Senator Anil Roberts, and we were going down the line. We had reached swimming and coaching. All right, and I just want to ask you something before we get into the private sector role in terms of sport. You mentioned Dylan Carter, and I was reading an article. It was in the Express, I believe it was, and the article was saying that he's just not an Olympic performer. Like for some reason or the other, he chokes at the Olympics.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
He does not shoot. And for anybody to write that abject total nonsense and actually print it, they're either idiotic or they have no clue, and they should never write anything about sport. Dylan Carter genetically, skill-wise, ability-wise is an Olympic medalist. The one problem with Dylan Carter is that he has not been able to settle with a good, solid coach like Marchand from France, who has Bowman, who was Michael Phelps' coach, and he found the worst coach on God green earth. It's my friend, but when it comes to coaching, it had no friend. That is my friend. I was on national team with him swimming since 1979. He's the funniest individual. He could tell you a story whole night. I used to have to beg him, Dexter Brown, stop talking, I need to sleep. So he's my friend for a long time. He's a very intelligent engineer. He was a great model and photographer. But he's not a coach, and what he was talking and what he was implementing is not scientifically sound. It is destined for failure, and it has nothing to do with Dylan Carter. Dylan Carter's coach program was abject nonsense. The only result that could have come was total failure. I was even shocked. It came out worse than I thought. So all Dylan Carter needs to do is find a coach who understands swimming, who understands planning, who understands periodization, macrocycle, microcycle, get him back to his technique. He even lost his underwater speed. He lost his power. He lost his fitness. because they did absolutely nothing, because Dexter Brown believes in this Michael Andrews philosophy of lazy man could win. Well, let me tell you, that has been tried over 200 years and it has never succeeded. Right. Lazy man just lost. If you don't train, you will fail. End of story. And let me tell you something, just because we move on to private sector, don't feel I done with telling all you what PNM cut. You know what PNM cut to? There was something called the Elite Funding Program that was to develop. If you're in the top 100 and so on, you get funding so you can pay your coach, your gym fees, your travel, your competition, your massage therapist, and so on. I had about 85 athletes on that per year. That cut down to about 23. Also, when athletes got injured who are on the elite program, the Ministry of Sport and the taxpayers would pay for their surgery and their rehab. The PNM cut that and tell the athletes find their own money to do their own rehab and so on. You know what they cut also? They cut the SOSA awards. I had a Spirit of Sport awards, because you not only must train the body and the physiology, you must train the mind and the mind as well. Yeah. And the Spirit of Sport awards was to recognize everybody from coaches, grassroots coaches, development coaches, massage therapists, doctors, all sorts of media personnel, pictures, to create an industry. PNM cut that and all. Do you know when Sunil Narayan and Cooper got called for pelting? You know what I did as minister? Because they are national athletes, gems who do more for us than we could ever say thank you for. The government, the taxpayers paid $776,000 for Sunil Narayan and Cooper to go to Australia for about 5 weeks to go through texting, video, corrective measures and so on. And now Sunil Narayan still playing up to this day because of that. The PNM cut all of that and disrespect Richard Thompson and Keston Bledman and the 4x100 relay. They get uplifted to gold medal. Not a cocktail party, not a picture, not a reward. The PNM also cut. I created, but the problem with sport is that everybody had to know somebody and it had plenty lick packs. I don't like that. I don't have to like you, Stephan. If you good, you good. You get what you deserve. Yeah. So what I did was create a reward system that if you get a medal, individual or team, for example, in the Olympics, Olympic gold, which Keshawn got, for example, in 2012, you get $1 million reward, IHCC house, something named after you, and a national award. Silver, bronze, end of story. You just have to look at the booklet and see what you get. You don't have to go by the minister and say, Minister, I love your bald head, you know, you talk so good. Could I have something? PNM is about that. They're not about merit. So you have to come and bow to them, and who will get is who they like. And that's what happens. When there is no merit in your society, when you change scholarships to bursary, when in order to get funding, you have to go Balize House. When to get a job, you have to go down a steps, past 3-dog, a parrot, and enter office and wait on a red couch. When you go before the world, where merit is based on gold medal and performance, you will get licks. So our society is not merit-based. So when we go out international, you feel them Yankees saying, hey man, I like Trinidad and Tobago, y'all got wet currents roll and roadie, man. I'm gonna let you win. You think that happening? It's pure cocktail, man fighting. So when our society becomes led by a political party who says, it don't matter if you study hard, it don't matter if you work hard, it don't matter if you're the best contractor, it don't matter if you're the best engineer, you have to be Noel Garcia, Rowley friend, and you get to build everything under the earth. So no matter how smart you are, you went Harvard engineering, you're not good enough to perform. Well, that transcends into sport. And when you go to face the world, you get licks. Now, private sector.
Private sector.
Private sector follows the public sector. If the public sector and the government shows confidence and puts their money where their mouth is, the private sector will assist. The private sector has no responsibility to develop sport in the country. None whatsoever.
Okay.
So that's nonsense. Private sector is to make profit. Private sector is to make money. A CEO is to make money for his shareholders. End of story now. If by linking their product to brilliance, to high performance, discipline, speed, stick-to-itiveness, punctuality, they can uplift their brand that will have. So when your brand is licks, when your brand is indiscipline, when your brand is no merit, when your brand has nothing, private sector will not and cannot come forward. They have, leadership is a very important thing. And in Trinidad and Tobago now, the government, because the private sector is also decimated from energy sector, the economy, COVID-19, pre-COVID-19, 8,000 businesses shut down. The government must lead. And when the government sucks, and when the government is not good, and when the government not leading, private sector will follow. They will save the money for themselves, and so they can take no blame.
Okay. So that is not a responsibility. Because I was,
no, it's not.
I mean, I was looking at even like the Pro League, like football, right? I mean, okay, let's look at the secondary school football league. All right, I'll take you back to the secondary school football league.
Wait, don't worry, I'm going. I know what you want. Don't waste time. Let me go.
All right, let me go.
Secondary school. Let me tell you.
Succession planning. Let me go.
Understand this. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure a thriving primary school, secondary school into semi-pro and professional football league.
Right.
It is not incumbent on the private sector nor on the football teams to make it economically viable. Because if you understand Trinidad and Tobago's culture and sport culture, we are not the type of population as yet who gets involved and pays money to see sport on a regular basis. We pay money when sport reach big. We pay money when we nearly reach the World Cup. We pay money when match is a huge match. We are not like Wiscombe playing Scunthorpe in England and you still have 15,000 people paying 20 quid to go and see a match. We have to develop a culture. When Arthur Bolden come back to run in the stadium and you had big Olympic medalists and so on for the N3A's Open Championship, you would only see 640 people and 380 is parents and family.
Okay.
So we don't have that culture in Jamaica when they have the champs, which is intercall running. You have 27,000 people because that is their culture. So we have to lead from the top, try to change that culture so that these teams could become economically viable. But for Champak Pujo to tell our football team, we are not giving you support. You have to sell tickets and make money. When the country is not of that and there's no real opportunity so to do, is ignorant. Because the government must put funding because football is an industry, provides opportunity for work for black people. Because there are no Indian playing football really, probably about 3 of them. It's jobs, it's players, it's money in the pocket, it's coaches, it's trainers, it's maxi drivers, it is people. And the government has a responsibility to fund that, not private sector.
All right, but okay. You know, you just said something that I said yesterday, that we only come out when we're on the brink of success. But Michel Aib did respond.
Hey, stop it.
You see what I mean? I just want to find out your thoughts on that because hold on. Because I said
I don't want to hear what she said. Michelle Lee Ayi, with all due respect, I think you should never wear red, white, and black. You should be very quiet. You are totally disrespectful. For an athlete who missed 3 tests in 12 months out of competition, you should be very silent. The fact that somebody decided to let you, after you did that, George Bowell in 18 years never missed 1 out of competition test, 1 whereabouts test, not 1, because we don't play. And then on top of that, you run 11:33. That little girls in high school at 14 has run. And then you have the audacity to attack us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, for saying what? That even if people said the team is not good, that's fair comment. You are in sport. You have to deal with that positive and negative. But you confirm if there were haters, for example. Michel Liai confirmed that the haters were correct. Because they say if the haters said that she's slow, 11:33 is pedestrian. So you don't run slow with my flag on your chest and then come and attack citizens. You're fast and out of place. Then you come in a relay. Me, I even know if she run the relay, I don't even know what, but all I see is 42.99 or 43.99. We have 12 girls who could put 4 together in St. Augustine girls and in Shagwana Secondary and Mukurapo East who could run faster than
but just
so with all due respect.
Yeah. Right.
Huh? Do not attack citizens, because citizens, the only thing that we said was that people didn't like the outfit. Who cares?
No, but on right, but
that had to do with the designer.
Right, but on that issue where she said, you know, people don't support. Let me just put her aside for 1 second, because you mentioned it. Wait, you mentioned it. You mentioned that we do have that culture. I said that, listen, maybe part of the problem is because even as big as the English Premier League and La Liga and the Bundesliga and Serie A are in terms of football, it well promoted. They spend money to promote it, so you know that it creates a hype over the games that are going to take place in the season every week. We don't promote sport. You don't see so nobody knows what's going on. Sometimes if you're not in the circle, you don't know it have a game going on in the stadium.
Pause. That is a good point, but that might be point number 3.
Okay.
Don't put the cart before the horse.
All right.
Don't put the pig before the pigtail in the bucket.
All right.
You know what inspires people? Great performance.
Great performances, yeah.
If you're performing nonsense, people are not interested.
Right.
So you can't perform nonsense for 3 years and expect people to be excited about you? What madness are you talking about?
Agreed.
Well, look, people didn't know about Otto Bolden in 1992. When he went World Championship from out of Yankee, come down with a little Trini freshwater Yankee accent, and he win 2 goals in the Junior Worlds. And people say, hey, boy, let me get excited. And from there, he went to Olympics 92. Hey, this Otto Bolden looking good. Then he went in 96, run up first round, blow away the world, looking better than Frankie Fredericks and Donovan Bailey. Everybody pay attention, everybody supported. Yeah. Semi-final, you run through, and he come in chest, Trinidad and Tobago. Why? Yeah. Because you're running good. If you want people to take interest, you have to run, you singing like a man singing nonsense and say he here with Soca Monarch. You here with Soca Monarch because your tune ain't good. Sing a good tune. You have people hating Marcel. But from the time Marcel Calypso come out, I tell my girl, Marcel go win that Calypso Monarch.
Yeah.
The Calypso was brilliant, intelligent, historical, respectful, linking cultures, and what happened, me win. Man go hate because he performed. If you want people to be inspired, you must inspire people.
Yeah.
So don't come and run slow and then cost me. Nah, man.
Yeah, exactly. I wanna touch on football too. I see that they fire Angassi recently, and I mentioned yesterday, we getting ready for our World Cup in 2026. We're in 2024 August, and Trinidad and Tobago do have a coach.
Yeah,
what is the TTFA? What is the TTFA doing? Really?
It's not what we talked about for the last 40 minutes applies to football.
Right.
If you play, we could hire Pep Guardiola. We could put Jurgen Klopp as the assistant. And we could get Ten Hag to be the ball manager, to be the equipment manager. And we will still lose to Mexico, Canada, USA, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, and Honduras. With Pep Guardiola. So don't tell me about no coach. We have to go down in the primary school. We have to go down in the Montessori school. We have to start from scratch. We have to get the best coaches down there. We have to get the children to put on the iPad and the tablet. We have to get the children how they play. We have to educate our coaches. We have to lift the level. We have to invest in primary school league. We have to invest in secondary school league. We have to invest in grassroots league. We have to invest in, make sure secondary school football is not only 2.5 months, that they play 8 months, plus our indoor season. We have to invest in semi-pro, super league, pro league, national team, men, women, girls. We have to educate coaches. We have to educate physiotherapists. We have to get fitter. We have to get the passion. All of them greats who were great, they didn't get great by mistake. They play football all day. Alvin Cornell, all them back in the day. Lincoln Tiger Phillips is whole day, every day. We have children playing football 3 times a week, 2 hours, and all you feel that good? That ain't good. The world plays football whole day, every day. So no coach can help we. If your players are not of the level right now, when we qualify for 2006, You had about 11 professionals that people wanted to pay
Correct.
outside in Europe to play.
Correct.
How much you are now? One. I see Levi Garcia might go Tottenham. I hope he go. But we goalkeeper Smith good. But with all due respect to my brothers, we in Trinidaders like to talk. We real good. We the best. We the baddest. When I say who you beat, when you draw with Puerto Rico, you draw with Bahamas, you're struggling to beat Grenada. No. So no coach. You be one coach. Our coach go improve speed, fitness, strength, balance, jumping. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, because the team, the players. I mean, every player's not of that level, that high level. There's very little that a coach could do because people were telling me
getting improvement in sport starts with looking in the mirror, assessing where you are, saying the hard truth. Right now in Trinidad and Tobago, we are at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
And we can come out. But you have to come out, you have to first admit we are at the bottom. We're not investing. Our coaches are not intelligent enough. We're not educating. The facilities are rotten and dilapidated. We're not playing enough. We don't have enough sports science. We're not testing. We're guessing. We're going about the business just on top. We're on flam and picture. We're not serious. The world is serious. So if all you wake up after that cocktail, from swimming straight across the board to cycling. Cycling, I was hoping, boy, I could gallery on Sportsmax with them Jamaica because I expect him, the world record holder, and it just licks after licks. I have to take that with my red, black, and white, and then all they tell me, don't be vexed, don't be upset. Well, good for all you. I'm sorry for taking so long.
No, but even Nicholas Paul, who a lot of people who follow cycling and have been following him, they were saying, boy, Nicholas Paul might be the best shot we have at a medal. And even Nicholas Paul couldn't get it right when it mattered. I don't know why, because he's a top-class rider.
You see? But anybody went by Nicholas Paul coach and say, boss man, what took place? What were you doing for the last 8 months? How much altitude training did you do? What was his heart rate, resting rate in October last year? How much fitter did he go? What was his lunges? What was his maximum leg press? What was his maximum squat? How much plyometrics he did? What was his VO2 max when you're testing him? How big was his lung capacity? What gear you're using? Or what kind of bike? Do you need a better bike? Do you need a lighter? Would anybody ask them that?
Yeah, understood.
Because if you just go there, and do what? Let me tell you, Gene Samuel, 1984, miss a medal, come fourth. Like 0.09 or something of a second with a big heavy bike, 3 pounds heavier than the Yankee and them.
Okay.
Sport is not a guessing game. You can prepare for success day in, day out, morning, lunchtime, evening. But you can also prepare to fail. Olympics 2024 for Trinidad and Tobago was a spectacular failure. And it was the fruition of a plan to fail. Every aspect, from the Prime Minister, the Cabinet, the government, the Minister of Sport, come down to the coaches, the trainers, the Olympic Committee, the chef de mission, everybody played a part in the abject total failure. It did not happen by mistake. It has been happening for 8 years. The last medal we got was Keshawn Walcott, bronze in 2016. Keshawn Walcott, and I forgot the sporting organizations are full with people who just like to go on trip and are not based on quality and so on. The whole entry should resign. But back in 2012, I went in the stadium and a manager of Keshawn Walcott, who was a junior athlete who nobody knew about, come to me and say, Minister, the entry is not letting this boy use the javelin and thing to train. This was about end of January, early February 2012. I say, how you mean they're not letting him use the javelin to train? Javelin is a very specific event. You have to know what javelin you're throwing, what are the specs, what is the weight, and so on. He said, no, they're using some old iron javelin from 1980s. I said, don't be mad now. I said, come in the ministry tomorrow. They came in the ministry, I called the permanent secretary, and we organized and we bought javelins for Keshawn Walcott to train in February, March. And he trained. He went later on, I think in June, and he threw in the World Championship and won gold. He then went to London and threw 84-58 and won gold and broke brought glory to Trinidad and Tobago just because I happen to meet the manager. But the entry is, why are we doing that? Why are we selecting friend and family to go as coach even though they don't know what they're doing? Why are we sending relay teams to go 306.73 and 43.99? Why are we embarrassing our flag and then smiling and taking picture and saying, let we go by the Seine and Eiffel Tower? If I coaching and I perform so bad, if I know Eiffel Tower, I coming back down by the financial tower and sleep in Trinidad. We have to respect our flag, respect our country. When you get out there to perform, this crybaby thing, these coaches who don't want to educate themselves and only talk about I good. You're good? Well, show me. People, you can't be good and you're getting licks all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at, just before we run out of time here, I was looking at something here that I asked you. It dawned on me. Keishon Walcott, as you mentioned, was so successful, winning a gold medal, and I would have thought like his accomplishments of that of Cleopatra Borrell as well in her discipline would have inspired other people in Trinidad to get into that discipline. But now we ended up in the same problem where we mightn't see a next javelin competitor representing Trinidad and Tobago for the next 20 years. I thought at least we would have had 2 or 3 coming up saying, well, you know, there's a sport we should get into now.
You want to know why?
Talk to me.
Because we keep repeating ourselves in every aspect. Whenever a government comes in that is not the PNM, and they start to move the country forward with diversification, merit, moving forward, moving economy, energy sector, the PNM always comes back like a bad rash. So understand this. In 1976, Aisley Crawford won from lane 1 with the red and white socks for Trinidad and Tobago. Donald Quarry came second. Right. Aisley, in celebrating his 100 down by the track, jumped up in the air, pumped his fist like this, but when he landed, he twisted up. He twisted his ankle and twinged his hamstring, so he was unable to do the double. And Quarry won gold in that 1976. Right. Jamaica then made moves to replicate that. In every primary school, they had qualified coaches who understand sports and growth and maturational stages of sport development, identifying talents, preparation, and so on of a general nature. They put professional coach and taught teachers in high school, created a championships that engender excitement, passion, and togetherness. You will see the Prime Minister holding this in the school uniform during champs and so on. They did that, and now Jamaica they had a bad Olympics, but them still get 6 medals. Them upset. We get one final, 2 final, whatever it is, 2 final. Them vexed with 6 medals because they developed on their success, created new generations of talent, got the intellectual capital to the athletes to fulfill dreams. And we sat down here waiting for PNM to save all our way. God bless all you. Have a great morning. Sorry to take up the whole and break it down, but sport is a serious thing. When your dog bites you, your dog love you, not well bitten. Champa Kujo must go. The Olympic Committee president must go. The entries, the whole executive must go. And we must get people and coaches who are doing the job. Stop spitting out those and turning them and acting vitriolic towards those who perform. Stop with the jealousy. Life is a competition. Embrace competition. Let the best move forward. Stop the nonsense. And most importantly, do you know what caused all of this? Because somehow we feel we black and somehow we feel we Indian when it comes to vote. I's the Douglar. I black and Indian, and I just only vote for what makes sense. Bless.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your morning, Mr. Roberts. And thanks a lot for your time.
Mr. Roberts, Mr. Roberts is my father.
Is your father? All right, Anil. All right, Anil. No problem, man. Thanks.